Hi, thank you for joining me for these sessions, which I call Minding Me, another way of saying how to be compassionate and kind to yourself. And my name's Rachel. I work for the New Forest Live at Home scheme, and some of you may know at least my voice from conversations on the phone. So right here, right now, before I start the session, I'd like you just to reflect on how you feel, and maybe without great analysis, just if one word comes to your mind about how you feel right here, right now, in your current state or situation. And as I'm reflecting on that, the word I would use would be curious. That's how I feel at the moment. I'm curious as to how this is going to be and how this will unfold and what support it can give us all in the community. So thank you for boldly stepping into a space that is for you, and how to look at ways of minding yourself and looking after yourself. And life, without doubt, as we know, sends us challenges. There's no doubt at the moment this is one of those challenging situations that we've lived in for some time, and an extraordinary time, extraordinary challenges. But also, as in any time, particularly difficult times, it is always true that we can help ourselves. It is always true that there is beauty out there, that there are ways to connect with that, connect with ways to allay anxiety, to find that little spot of peace inside of us, and it resides in all of us. We all have that somewhere inside us to tap into and to support our well-being, sometimes in spite of what our minds will say to us, and the fears it will throw up to challenge us. So we are going to use this time to find ways to grow that peace and that joy that is inside us, so that not only can we use it to keep calm and positive, but also to enhance our life, so that our life feels ever better, and that we can have a sensory experience of it being ever better and ever more joyful. Now, as we've, in the last few weeks, when I've been on the phone to some of you, I've noticed that gardens and connecting with nature and being in nature have been a fundamental way of making you feel good and giving you some peace and some space. And there's absolutely no doubt that we have some real exhibition gardens out there. For those of you who have gardens and can garden, I'm sure they're looking extraordinary. And as stated in our newsletter, please send your photos in, so that we can all enjoy what you've been creating. And if you don't have a garden, I know that some of you all can't even access a green space so easily. Even sitting by the window, throwing open your window and listening to birdsong is a joyful and connecting pastime. But I'm going to use gardens as an analogy also for our own well-being, so that I'm sure some of you might know the expression to cultivate your garden. So what we're going to do is we're going to pluck out the weeds of negativity, of feeling fed up, and we're going to plant a few green shoots, a few seeds, and tender the green shoots, and nurture them carefully, just as we're going to nurture, the analogy being that we're going to nurture ourselves, and that garden being our mind very often. So we're going to learn to be more positive, less self-critical, live more in the present, and to do with this with kindness and patience. We're going to cultivate our gardens. So to get going, and to really be here in this space right here, right now, body and soul, I'm going to start with a very gentle exercise that brings the all of you here and present. It's very easy and it's as straightforward as breathing, and something we can all do. So bear with me. I am just a moment away. It's called, and it's from a beautiful book I use called The Power of Modern Spirituality. So it's absolutely about how to live a life of compassion and personal fulfillment. And this particular exercise, if you just want to get yourselves comfortable, and we will do this together. So if you want to make sure you're comfortable on your seat, have a little shift around if necessary, a little bit of a turn of the head, raise the shoulders up and down, just relax a bit. Taking a few minutes to be quiet. If you can take a first breath, and you don't have to close your eyes, but lowering your eyes gently so the focus is soft and your eyes are more focused downwards. That will help you to relax and to keep the focus on your breathing. So I'm going to ask you to recall a time when you were feeling relaxed and content. Just one that trips along in your mind. It might be after a good Sunday lunch. It might be sitting watching your favourite view on a bench in the forest, or looking out to the sea. It might be a favourite holiday you had when you just felt really at one with yourself. So if you can remember a time now, just to connect to that and just have that peaceful experience come back to you now. Bringing it into the now. And in this situation you are physically comfortable and content. You are sinking into yourself and into calm. And right now, see if you can allow yourself to sink into those same sensations. Let your stomach sink and relax. Taking another breath when you feel right. Lowering your chin slightly. Keeping your eyes slightly lower as if looking down at the ground. Notice the sensations on the soles of your feet. The sensations of your clothes on your thighs and your bottom. And then together, let's take 3 very slow, quiet and calm deep breaths down into your abdomen. Allow yourself to sink down into yourself as if you were sinking into a good rest. And explore sensing that you are connected with the earth beneath you. Gravity pulls you down and your energy sinks down into the centre of the earth. You're feeling held The earth is holding you. And you feel comfortable and chilled, just watching the world go by. Content, watching the world go by. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes again. Maybe as you started, just a little gentle shakedown. If you want to, a little stretch. Ooh, some of those noises that just, get your vocal cords going. And deep breathing into that chest and abdomen area. So hopefully no one's nodded off from being too comfy. I often do that. And just really staying with the being here, being now, and focusing on the here. So, as I was saying, I am naturally a very curious person, or some might say I'm a very nosy person. I prefer the word curious, obviously. And I'm really keen, therefore, to hear your tried and tested ways of relaxing, because we all have them. What makes you feel at one with yourself? Find your joy. And if this is something you're able and want to share, please do message us on Facebook. Tell us on phone calls, because together we could start a well-being box, if you like, or a toolkit that we can all then have access to. Okay, how did Dorothy find a way to just relax and chill out? Is that something I can do? What did Joe do to when he was feeling particularly pent up? What worked for him? This is stuff we can all share in our community. With our Live at Home scheme, or really help us all and each other. But obviously only share if you're happy to. We're not into obligation here. So, and these sessions, Minding Me, are really very much about being mindful. It's a very easy and accessible way to calm and see the beauty, often in the mundane, on a daily basis. It is available to us all, and yet interestingly we avoid the practice of mindfulness in contemporary society, I think because there's so many distractions around. So it is something that we've just started now a practice of, just the slowing down, the focusing on breath, the focusing on yourself. But also, I know that I often wonder, what does mindful mean? So let's just have a quick look at that, so that we're dispelling any kind of confusion or a big question over it, because it's quite straightforward actually. For me, being mindful is literally about being present, being with yourself in the here and now, and actually it is simple, and yet we do struggle to be mindful. Hands up, I find it difficult to be here and be now, be here and be present and in the now, because it means I'm not allowing myself to be distracted by all the things that are going on, the laundry, the homeschooling, the what's on the telly, the crazy multitasking we can do sometimes, or the other thing, of course, that we can all do is what happened in my past, what memory should I focus on, or what made me disgruntled, or what did I love? Let's shoot back to the past and focus on that. Or it's like, what am I doing this time next week, or even this afternoon, or where am I going to am I thinking about moving house, or am I thinking about going to see someone, or a stay somewhere, or a new project, and straight away I can be taken right into the future. Now, that doesn't mean that isn't all valid. It is completely valid to remember special, precious times in the past. And it's completely valid to think about having done something in one way that we might need to learn from to do things in a different way in the future. And likewise, it's also very valuable to plan for our futures and to be excited about the future. But if we do too much of that, back into the past, out in the future, what we're doing is we're not here right now. And this is the reality. Here and now. This is the reality. This is when we're breathing. This is when we are sensually alive. So let's not avoid that, because that is the stuff. That is the richness of life. So that for me is how mindfulness can really help us to really, really, really enrich our experience of life. And we can all do that, whatever our situation. It allows, we have that ability to access that. So what I'm going to focus on, which I believe is especially important to start with and to help our wellbeing practice, is to create your own mindful space. It's important that when you join the sessions and ever after, when you want your own space of peace and quiet and connectedness and joy, that you create a space in your home that is tranquil and just for you. And it's a space where you can always go back to, that seat, that place where you can just go and there you are. And it's great fun to create a mindful space. And by the way, this mindful space is shutting the door on family, if you live with family, in the nicest way. I'm just off on my own for a bit. Bye-bye, see you later. On distractions like the TV, on carers letting them do their work, but you having your time to yourself, and making that clear. There's nothing offensive or bad about saying, do you know what, I'm just going to have my space for 20 minutes. And do you know what, I'm going to come back. You're going to just love the fact that I'll have my space, because I'm going to be so relaxed. And see, that's what my family get now. If I'm saying I just need my space, just getting out there for 20 minutes into my seat, they'll be like, oh, okay, that means she has that need. And they know that I come back nourished and just feeling so much more refreshed and relaxed. So also, it does lend itself, creating this space does lend itself to getting ever more out of the sessions as well. And it's fun. It can be fun to create. So here we go. Your mindful space can be as big as or as small as you want and need it to be. And it might have to be fairly small depending on the space of your home, or it could be more spacious depending on your home once again. My space consists of a very comfy chair, and I have a small table by the side when I'm doing my mindful practice or my wellbeing practice. I'm lucky in so much as I am seated next to French windows. I love natural light and I love hearing something of nature outside. So on a calm, generally sunny spring or summer day, I can sometimes throw open the door even. But if it's warm enough, a window open, a door open, natural light is good. And on my table, which I will show you in a minute, I have various things. They can include a bunch of flowers, sometimes nice just to have some from the garden. I have a crystal. Crystals have healing properties used over centuries for their healing. I always have a little painting, because my daughter's a lovely artist, and I have a little painting which she's done. Just looking across, I always have something of a sentimental value, which I'll also show you. Sometimes I have a picture of a loved one, and I've even sometimes had a picture of an ancestor that I might not have known personally, but somehow I just feel like a connection of some sort. I feel like there's a watching over me, which I like to see present. And also on your table or the space next to you, it's good to have something that is of particularly personal value. And this has been anything for me from a book from my childhood, a particular gift from someone that is in my heart and very important to me. It might be a stone from a well-visited beach. And with the space, you'll have created a gentle feast for your senses, in effect. And it will help to make you feel more alive, give you comfort, and it's a lovely way to start your journey of well-being and mindfulness. So, with no more to do, I will show you, bear with me, as I hopefully not too clumsily show you what I have on my table. So here we go. Here's with my, apologise for the clumsiness, I'm just trying to give you an idea, with my rose quartz crystal. Here with my little glass ornament that has particular sentimental value to me. In the background here you can see a piece of artwork by my daughter. She's studying art shortly at college. Whilst I'm not particularly an artist with a capital A, I have these crayons here because they remind me to connect to my creativity, and I sometimes use them to do colouring, which is a very mindful activity and something we can do on the sessions. And sometimes I light a candle because it's another way of just focusing on the here and now. Always remembering, of course, to blow them out when you finish your session. So, there we go. So thank you for your patience while showing you all of that, just to help really. And finally, just to say that each week we will be using music and literature and art and nature, indulging all our senses to help with our practice of mindfulness. And if you're willing along the way, I'd welcome your experiences, whatever has worked for you. Please do share. You can message us on Facebook or even phone in and let us know what works for you. Because as a community we can all benefit from each other and share for each other, particularly in these times, I think, and beyond these times. And sometimes I will ask you to bring something for the next session. That may be colouring pens and paper. It may be something of particular value to you that we can talk about together. But this week coming, it's all about creating your mindful space. So just look around your home, have a think about what you want by you that reminds you about precious times and what's important to you, what is beautiful to you, because it really does help you to have a sensuous experience of being fully alive. And I'm going to leave you today with one of my favourite poems by Derek Walcott. You may be familiar with it, and it's called Love After Love. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.